Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopikana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopikana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Randana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Randana Jamuna Tira Banamchari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jamuna Tira Vanamchari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Gaur Pimanandi Jai Mishipad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagachaja Stothara Satta Sri Simad His Divine Grace Shilabhai Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi BT Founder Chariots Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinama Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Danitai Gaura Pimanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksurindalitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tirubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyayivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Dharam Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee. All that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil. And loving devotional service sung to the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasayanam Mahat. The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti vasaram pangum langayate girim. Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhagavatam class. We begin, or we continue, rather, with Canto number 1, chapter 5, entitled Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see. What text are we reading?
Narada over. 8 over.
Number 8, huh? Yeah.
Over. Today 9.
Today 9. Oh. Today 9. Okay. Yatha Dharma Dayash Chartha Muni Varyanukirtitaha Na Tatha Vasudevasya Mahima Hi Anuvarnitaha Yatha Dharma Dayaschartha Muni Varyanukirtitaha Na Tatha Vasudevasya Mahima Hyanuvarnitaha Mahima Yatha Dharma Dayaschartha Muni Varyanukirtitaha Na Tatha Vasudevasya Mahima Yanuvarnitaha
Mahimahi Anuvarnitaha
Yatha dharmadayaschartha
Yata Dharmadaya
Muni Varyanukirtitaha
Muni Varyanukirtitaha
Na tatha vasudevasya
Natata Vasudevasya
Mahima Yanuvarnitaha
Mahimahi Anuvarnitaha Yata Dharmadaya Charta Yata Dharmadaya Charta Munivaryanukirtitaha Munivaryanukirtitaha Natata Vasudevasya
Na tatha vasudevasya
Mahima Hyanuvarnitaha
Mahima Yanuvarnitaha
Yatha Dharmadayaschartha
Yatha dharmadayaschartha
Muni Varnanukirtitaha
Muni Varyanukirtitaha
Natatha Vasudevasya
Na tatha vasudevasya
Mahimahi Anuvarnitaha
Mahima Yanuvarnitaha
Yatha dharmadayaschartha
Yata Dharmadayaschartha
Munivaryanukirtitaha
Munivaryanukirtitaha
Natatha vasudevasya
Natata Vasudevasya
Mahima Yanuvarnitaha
Mahimanuvarnitaha
Yatha dharmadaya charta
Yata Dharmadayaschartha
Muni Varyanukirtitaha
Muni Varyanukirtitaha
Natha Vasudevasya
Nathatha vasudevasya
Mahimahu Anuvarnitaha
Mahimanuvarnitaha
Yatha
Yata
as much as
Dharma
adayaha
Dharmadaya
all four principles of religious behavior.
All four principles of religious behavior.
Cha
Cha
and
and
arthaha
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 purposes.
purposes
Munivarya
Munivarya
by yourself,
by yourself
the great sage. Anukirtitaha
Kirtitaha
repeatedly described.
repeatedly described
Na not
not
tatha
Tata
in that way.
in that way
Vasudevasya
Vasudevasya
of the personality of Godhead.
of the personality of Godhead
Sri Krishna
Sri Krishna
Mahima
Mahima
glories.
glories
He
He
certainly
certainly
Anuvarnitaha
Varnitaha
so constantly described.
so constantly described
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Although, great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles, beginning with religious performances, you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. Kindly repeat after me. Although, great sage,
although great sage
you have very broadly described
Very broadly described
the four principles,
four principles
beginning with religious performances.
beginning with religious performances
You have not described
you have not described
the glories of the Supreme Personality,
the glories of the Supreme Personality,
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva
Report. The prompt diagnosis of Sri Narada is at once detected. Is at once declared. The root cause of the despondency of Vyasadeva was his deliberate avoidance of glorifying the Lord in his various editions of the Puranas. he has certainly, as a matter of course, given description of the glories of the Lord, Sri Krishna, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and salvation. These four items are by far inferior to engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. Sri Vyasadeva, as the authorized scholar, knew very well this difference. And still, instead of giving more importance to the better type of engagement, namely devotional service to the Lord, he had more or less improperly used his valuable time, and thus he was despondent. From this, it is clearly indicated that no one can be pleased substantially without being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, this fact is clearly mentioned. After liberation, which is the last item in the line of performing religiosity, etc., one is engaged in pure devotional service. This is called the stage of self-realization, or the Brahma Bhuta stage. After attainment of this Brahma Bhuta stage, one is satisfied. But satisfaction is the beginning of transcendental bliss. One should progress by attaining neutrality and equality in the relative world. And passing this stage of equanimity, one is fixed in the transcendental living service of the Lord. This is the instruction of the personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita. The conclusion is that in order to maintain the status quo of the Brahmabhuta stage, as also to increase the degree of transcendental realization, Narada recommended to Vyasadeva that he, Vyasadeva, should now eagerly and repeatedly describe the path of devotional service. This would cure him from gross despondency. Translation again. Although, great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles, beginning with religious performances, you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. So this is bringing us to the topic of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, which is very much discussed actually in the Shastra. And in many ways, it's all pervading in various Vedic literatures. However, as being pointed out here by Narada Muni, these activities of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, they are very secondary uh, when taking into consideration the let's say the goal ultimately, the goal. What is the goal of these activities? This is being mentioned here. The goal is to come to the platform of being engaged in devotional service. Uh, so sometimes these principles, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, are minimized or even rejected, just like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, sarva dharmam parityaja. Krishna is rejecting actually, when this was translated, this particular verse, when it was translated in Indonesia, they were translating the Bhagavad Gita, and the way it was translated, because they have, in Indonesia, the government accepts 5 religions. So, and one of those religions, although Indonesia is like a totally Muslim country, they recognize and accept other religions, and even they have, like, in the Department of Religion, they have their own department. So Hindu is one of the religions. So when the devotees translated the Bhagavad Gita, and it came to the attention of the Hindu Department of Religion, it was misunderstood that we are rejecting religion. So actually, the government banned the Hare Krishna movement in Indonesia many, many years ago, maybe in the early 80s or something. So that needs to be properly understood, because ultimately we are Sanatanists. What does Sanatanist mean? We follow Sanatan Dharma. How we can reject Dharma? Huh? But as nicely explained in the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have it right here, this very important verse gives further clarifications about Dharma, which is actually first chapter, text 2, very well-known verse. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. This kaitava, dharma kaitava. Kaitava means covered by fruitive intention. So when dharma, when religious practices are performed for some material benefit, that is rejected. But the pure dharma, the essence of dharma, of course, is bhakti, pure devotional service to the Lord. And also, even kama. Kama, we generally, what is the general understanding of kama? Huh? Lust, yes. Kama isha, krodha isha. Lust and anger. If lust is not satisfied, then one becomes angry. That's why we have a lot of angry people in the world. Because one can never satisfy lust, actually. Lust being a perverted reflection of love. Actual love means prema. Yeah. So, but in the Bhagavatam, there is that sloka, sarva kama udaradi. Yes, so this sarva kama, what is sarva kama udaradi? that word, huh? Spiritual karma. Karma in that context means sarva kama udara. No, what is it? Sarva kama. No, 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 no. That all material necessities can be met. Sarva kama duga mahi. That's the one. Sarva kama duga mahi. Mahi means people from India. No, mahi, land. Right? Yeah, mahi. Sarva kama duga mahi means all necessities in this context. Kama means necessities. So sarva means all. All necessities of life can be had from mahi, from the land. That's why Vedic culture is so much focused on land. It's so much based on village lifestyle, agrarian lifestyle. Sarva kama duga mahi. Our clothes comes from the land. This book, believe it or not, comes from the land. This, yeah, everything comes from the land, isn't it? So, but when we when we misuse even artha, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Artha, there is, what is meaning of artha? Economic, yeah, artha. Prabhupada explained, there is artha and then there is paramartha. What is paramartha? Yes, paramartha means our eternal, what is it? Our eternal benefit, our eternal asset. Just like Prabhupada often quotes, Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Swa-artha. We have our swa-artha, our real asset is actually the possibility, the opportunity in the human form of life to develop pure love of Krishna, to develop a transcendental self-realization. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains how, Narada Muni is pointing out the reason why Srila Vyasadeva, his disciple, was despondent, although he knew very well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedic literatures, and we can still find this today. I mean, the Vedic literatures, this is nicely pointed out actually by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandarbha. I think at the very beginning, what is the first of the Tattva Sandarbhas? Yeah, yes. So, I meant of the Sat Sandarbhas, but yeah, it is Tattva Sandarbha. So, Tattva Sandarbha, which is, we could say, setting the scene or preparing, actually establishing that the Vedas are the ultimate source of all, the first and ultimate source of all knowledge, right? So in the Tattva Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami, he explains that actually Vedeshu Dolabam Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Davayovanam Cha Vedeshu Dolabam Adolamam Atma Bhaktao. For to read, to study the Vedas by oneself, even one may be very intelligent. So many scholars in the West, for example, they study the Vedas. They cannot properly understand the Vedas because a lot of the Vedas are written for people who are actually materially motivated. At least they will follow what is prescribed in the Shastra, that is called karma. By following the Vedas, they will become pious, and even though it is for material motivation, they will progress, but it will be a very slow progress. So Sri Jiva Goswami is pointing out how the essence actually of the teachings of the Vedas is concealed, is actually hidden. I mean, just consider the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Where do we find the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Bhagavad Gita? We don't. Where do we find the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Bhagavatam? Huh? No. We don't find the full Mahamantra in. Krishna is there, of course. Even Srimad Radharani is there, but it is concealed. It means that actually not so easy unless one is properly disposed, unless one is properly sufficiently purified, one will not be able to so easily get the essence of what is there in the Shastra. So so this was being pointed out by Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva, and so of course this brings the whole topic of Varnashrama to mind, because Varnashrama is dealing with Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. In that we speak about the need, let's say, for householders to have a particular occupation because they have different needs and responsibilities. So artha is more of importance for grihastas than it is for brahmacharis. True or not? True, huh? Brahmacharis, is true or not? Brahmacharis are not supposed to be so preoccupied with making money. I mean, they're not at all supposed to be preoccupied by making money, because they are meant to be cared for in ashram. One who is married, then he has to be thinking about how to make, as they say, ends meet. How to make ends meet. But Vedic literatures, they give us information, they give direction how this can be done. How this can be done in such a way that the ultimate goal, which is to remember Krishna, to continue striving for self-realization, can happen, isn't it? And therefore, the term prescribed duties, which is in the Bhagavad Gita, we find also in the Bhagavatam, is a very important term, because there are activities which are more conducive for doing these two things: meeting our material necessities of life, and also facilitating our advancement in Krishna consciousness. And in modern day society, we're totally missing this out. we're totally missing the point. What am I referring to? What does this mean actually? It means that the majority of people in the world today, including devotees, don't mind, are not really engaged in their proper occupational duty. Isn't it? What does that mean? Ugra karma. Actually, yes. Ugra karma. And what is meant to be the real karma?
Majority of the population, agriculture.
Yes. One of the courses we gave in our 1 month seminar that brings home that point is
And our villages.
no. It's not the answer I'm looking for. It's correct. It's correct. Vrindavan villages, but one of the courses.
Our culture, agriculture.
Yeah, our culture, agriculture. Dayal Mukunda Prabhu was giving a class because he's like heading up our Varnashram College faculty of
Varta.
English?
Economy.
Yeah, faculty of economics, which is Varta in Sanskrit. So the faculty of economics is pointing this out. Vedic culture is agriculture. Is very much based on agriculture. I mean, that's the activity of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, isn't it? Every day. I mean, all the residents, Nanda Maharaj, all the residents. And because they're focused, I mean, Vrindavan is not the only village. You know, Vrindavan just happens to be the topmost village, but the whole of India, especially 5,000 years ago, even not that long ago also, even now, majority of people in India still live in villages. But we have forgotten the meaning and the purpose and the importance of village life. We are losing our villages. It means we're losing our culture, isn't it? So there needs to be, in other words, there needs to be a proper blend. There needs to be a proper marriage between these principles of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha and bhakti. Actually, they're meant to go together. As a matter of fact, when we follow the proper means of producing artha, material gain, material wealth, dharma, artha, kama, when we properly utilize the gifts of nature to procure our different necessities of life in the matter of food, in the matter of jackets. We're working on a special jacket, Varnashram College logo jacket. So clothes, yeah, production of clothes. The textile industry is the second most polluting industry in the world. And also, not only it is polluting the earth, but it is polluting us also. The more we are wearing synthetic most of the cloth today is not pure, isn't it? Just like most of the food today is also not pure. So we are slowly but surely every day becoming more and more contaminated. Every day we're becoming more and more impure. Every day becoming more and more difficult to grasp what is being presented in the Bhagavatam. Isn't it? So, so these two things, these two aspects are very, very essential. The one that is being pointed out here, that the goal needs to be very clearly understood as being, our development, advancement in spiritual life, specifically in devotional service, and the best means and the best way by which we can accomplish this is by the God-given system of Varna and Asrama. We're totally not, Prabhupada explained one time, we're not interested in just becoming farmers. We're not interested in just becoming vegetarians. That's not our purpose. But becoming farmers and becoming vegetarians are more conducive to actually coming to the mode of goodness, remaining in the mode of goodness, and rising from that mode of goodness to pure goodness. So that's why when we speak about education, we were mentioning that yesterday at the Sunday feast at the community hall for the Russian community, that education today is, we have forgotten what is meant to be the real education for young boys. Huh? Yes. The standard education for the vast majority of young boys is what Krishna and Balaram were doing in Vrindavan. Go out with the cows. This education. This is we cannot immediately understand how this is education. This is our disease. But actually, that is the real education. That, along with in the village, developing all types of activities which will engage individuals and what we know as schools, school is actually meant only for a few people. Gurukula is only for those who have the interest and the ability, which means very few people, to take up academics, subjects which require some good brain substance. And we are short of brain substance in Kali Yuga. So I will read again the text. What happened? Yeah, the text is text number 9, right? Yeah. Although great sage, this is Narada speaking to Vyasadeva, although great sage, you have very broadly described the 4 principles, means dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Beginning with religious performances, you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. Mm. And the last line of the purport, Narada recommended to Vyasadeva that he, Vyasadeva, should now eagerly and repeatedly describe the path of devotional service. This would cure him from gross despondency. How to strike a balance. This is our challenge, actually. How to strike a balance between what we generally know as spirituality, uh, bhakti, devotional service, and the whole topic of rasa, which is especially experienced and seen, and is meant to be uh, appreciated in the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan, on the one hand, and how to also understand the seemingly material activities of farming, of agriculture, of education through these activities. And this can only be understood if we, of course, hear from our acharyas, from Srila Prabhupada in particular, and how all of these activities, those prescribed activities, those recommended activities, are meant to be all performed in the service of Krishna. I think your bananas are coming, baby. Yeah. Any comments, questions? Yes.
Today, Gopashtami. Gopashtami today.
Today's Gopashtami, yes.
And Krishna and Balarama, they start a new level education.
Yes, yes, very good point. Actually, uh, today being Gopashtami, very good point you're bringing up, because yesterday actually I was reading this verse from the Bhagavatam where Prabhupada explains that when Krishna and Balaram are small boys, they're just growing up a little bit, at one point they are given the responsibility to look after the calves. That was yesterday. Now today, now they've been looking after the calves for a long time, and now they are a little bit grown up. So today on Gopashtami, they are given the responsibility to look after the cows. It's like graduation time. They're graduating. So, yeah, that is the main and standard, regular, natural activity of the residents of Vrindavan. Inconceivable for them to live in a village without cows, which is what modern people are trying to do, actually. So Gopashtami is being celebrated in different temples, especially in different communities where they have cows. When we will have our Goshala, we are planning to have a Goshala. It will be right here, actually, right beside the Gurukul. Beside the Gurukul will be a small Goshala, and beside the Goshala will be our research institute, Vaishnava Research Institute. So whenever we will have, definitely by next year, we can celebrate Gopashtami by having Go Puja on our land here. Now we don't have cows yet, but there are cows not too far away in Surabi. What is it? Huh? Nandi Sanctuary, yeah, Surabhi Kunj. So devotees can possibly pay a visit there later today. Um, Today is Monday, and this is our last week of our Varnashram courses. Um, so just like Krishna and Balaram are graduating on Gopastami, our students will graduate next week from yes.
On Saturday, we had online reading of speaking about Vanashrama.
Today is online reading of Varnashrama.
It was on Saturday with devotees. I would like to share Ishvara Puri Prabhu from Hyderabad. He shared that in his childhood, he was living in the village.
In his
childhood.
Childhood, okay, yeah.
He was living in the village with his family, and he mentioned that it was very natural, the process of milk, like using milk. That, for example, as Dattatreya Prabhu mentioned, that different times for eating different items.
Yes.
For example, curd should not be eaten in the evening.
Curd. Yeah, correct. Yes.
So Ishwarapuri Prabhu thought that it was like that because they made curd like during the night, so it was ready in the morning.
For the morning.
He told that like till the age of 9 he had no disease. He was very healthy because of this. But they moved to the city after it. So.
Yes. Yeah, actually so many health issues are there today because we're living upside down. We're not living the proper way. And so many health issues are there because we are disconnected with the land. So many issues are there. Health issues are there because we're disconnected with the cows, isn't it? Yes. So you're having a weekly reading every Saturday. But you're telling about today something is there? No? About reading? No. Okay. Every Saturday you have a reading of speaking about Varnashrama. Correct. Yeah. So as mentioned here, we should go on speaking about Varnashrama. We should go on reading about the subject matter. But always presenting it, endeavoring to present it in such a way that it's not just something mundane. We should actually always put the word Daiva in front, Daiva Varnashrama, because Daiva Varnashrama, different from just Varnashrama, is a devotional activity. And it is that which is recommended in our Shastra to facilitate and help us come to this higher level of bhakti and devotional service, pure bhakti, pure devotional service. The Varnashrama system is meant to facilitate that to happen. Okay, we will close here for now. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Sri Prabhupada ki, Gaura Pimanandi, Hare Krishna.